Now, welcome to Let's Talk Some Star Wars with Thor and Naboo. And what we'll do here is kind of like I do on my channel, where I just take some questions and answer them in one video. We're going to do that here, but these are questions left on, obviously, this channel.
The first question we're going to address is coming from Leo Felton. Hey Thor, do you think they need to resolve the issue with Andor's sister in a satisfying way, even being shown her grave in the second and final season of Andor, or are you satisfied with her unknown whereabouts just being a MacGuffin to open up the first season? I believe if it is unresolved in the second season, it will be one of the largest flaws of the first season, a season that was nearly flawless in my view. What do you say?
You know, if you had asked me this question before we started to rewatch season 1 of Andor, and I remember just kind of how important this was, kind of the crux of everything in season 1, it kind of kicks off everything that he's looking for his sister. But if you had asked me before that, I probably would have said not really, but now I'm like, yeah, I kind of think we need to know what happened to her.
I'm kind of two minds on this. Because as you said, and even through rewatching, yes, she's important. She's the reason that she is what drives him, you could say. And we never see the fate of what happens to any of the kids. Marva comes and kind of abducts Cassian, and then they're gone. But we also know from their dialogue that she said, hey, the Imperials are going to come right after us. You know, the Empire's coming, the Republic, or whatever it was at that time. And they're going to come and they're going to clean this out.
But it seems like he has a reason to believe she got off Kenari, right?
Yeah, well, he hears rumors of a girl from Kenari. Yeah, so I mean, maybe he's just always been keeping his ears open. Maybe he's been trying to use some of Bix's channels to get wind of anyone from Kenari, searching records, because he loves his sister. He wants to find her. He wants to be reconnected. But on the other side of things, I kind of thought that by the end of the season, Cassian kind of came to the realization that family is kind of what you choose.
Yeah, I get that too.
Marva's death affected him in such a way that he realized he had to grasp onto the family he has. He made sure to protect Brasso and Bix and get them out of there. B2, he recognized these people. This is his family.
That's his family, yeah. And his sister is someone he probably hasn't seen in, 20 years or whatever it might be.
So it makes you wonder, did his priorities shift by the end of the first season? That he no longer maybe feels the need he has to hunt for his sister, but at the same time realizes that all of the pain that he's had, it all stems from one place, and now he's full in on, I'm going to destroy this evil in the galaxy.
Yeah.
In his own form of revenge.
Yeah, he's moved on to a different obsession, in a manner of speaking.
So
nevertheless,
I'm two minds, but it would be nice to know what happened to the kids. I mean, that is a little open and hanging out in the air.
Yeah, I don't know that it would, ruin everything if we don't get it, but it certainly feels like something we should get. I don't know.
It depends, and if they solidify the family is what you make it theme.
Yeah, which I think is what they were going for.
If they have Cassian go back to where is my sister, what's her fate? The next comment is from Grice. Hey Thor, shows like Andor and Penguin are put your phone down TV shows. The more attention you pay, the bigger reward. It makes sense that it got low ratings because so much entertainment is designed to be played in the background while you scroll. They should literally make a PYPD rating and put it at the beginning of every episode.
I kind of agree with that.
Yes, put down your phone.
Put down your phones, because I will admit, I don't grab my phone a lot when we're watching, only when it's boring. Well, I hey, maybe I need to check what's going on in the Discord or my comments, or because that's what I'll do a lot of time. If I'm watching something and it's just kind of mindless, I'll start scrolling through my comments or something like that. And
that's why I learned how to knit and crochet.
Yeah, you do. Well, you're good at that.
It keeps me off my phone. Yeah. And it keeps my hands busy doing something so that my brain actually can focus.
But you're good at that. You'll crochet a whole damn sweater during a show and still, be able to, run the whole thing down. This and this happened, and that's when this happened.
It's just because my hands are busy, so I'm not grabbing for my phone. I don't know.
Yeah, but I agree. You are rewarded for paying attention to certain shows. In certain shows, you are not rewarded for paying attention. You feel why didn't I just run that in the background and just do something else or whatever it might be? But yeah, I don't know. I think you're joking about the rating, but at the same time, maybe a something in there to be hey, this is a show you might really want to pay attention to because there's going to be a lot going on here.
And I do like being rewarded for paying attention. It's kind of like training you to watch other shows.
Yeah.
Hey, look, pay attention. Rewards. But then you watch something else and you're like, nah, I needed my phone.
All right.
Next is from Brock Bell. Hey, Thor. Something I've been thinking about ever since Dune Prophecy is how that show really seemed to deliver on everything the Acolyte tried and failed to. A galaxy-spanning mystery plot exploring trust and corruption, and a mystic/religious organization in their relationship to the ruling government. It even has a diverse, female-led cast to boot. Even the name feels more at place. Dune, the Acolyte. What are your thoughts on the similarities between the two shows, and do you think Dune Prophecy managed to, unintentionally, execute the concept of the Acolyte better?
I hadn't really thought about just how many similarities there were
It's
until
a
you pointed
lot
out.
of plot similarities.
And it definitely executed pretty much everything better than the Acolyte.
Mm-hmm. But I didn't get to see Kamir's naked bottom in the Dune Prophecy.
I think one of the things that Dune did better, certainly did better than the Acolyte, is explain things without necessarily being just exposition heavy. Because so many things in the Acolyte, I feel like Star Wars always has this problem of like taking things for granted. Like, you know what the Jedi are, you know what this is all about, you know what this thing is. And I feel like sometimes, maybe not for the hardcore fan, but just looking at it as a generic show, I think sometimes they take a lot for granted with Star Wars and don't really get into details when they need to or should.
I can agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Dune Prophecy just overall better characters, better mystery, just better everything.
It's funny, in both shows they did the same thing where they couldn't give me a single character to really like or root for.
Yeah.
By the end, I didn't like anybody.
Yeah. I would say that was probably, like, the funny thing is I liked Soul until they just kind of butchered him halfway through the series.
Yeah, they got weird on him.
He was an idiot and he, like, lets himself be killed and all that. And Kamir is a pretty good villain, or the Stranger. And I will agree the biggest issue I had with Dune is, like, I don't really like any of these people. I understand them at least.
In Game of Thrones, you had the Stark family who you rallied behind.
Yeah.
In Dune Prophecy, all of them seemed pretty scummy.
Yeah, it seemed very ambiguous and just gray, and it worked for that show, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, every now and then you really want to, like, I like this character.
Well, it's a show that's heavily steeped in the politics of a giant universe with, a lot of varied interests. So I can understand it. I just was sad that, and I know this is a Dune thing, that there's just no one to sit behind and go, yes, this is the good family, or this is the good this, or...
Like, the Atreides are probably...
You can do that.
Yeah, like, in the movie, the Atreides feel like the good family, right? A little less here because we didn't get so much with the Atreides. They kind of get slaughtered at one point. Spoiler alert.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and the other Atreides is planning on helping overthrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely Dune did a lot better than the Acolyte, just in general.
Okay. The last one we have is from JD Studios. Hey, Thor and Naboo. Yeah, it's me. Right there. Me too.
You can trust us both, yeah.
What are your thoughts on the recent Hasbro earnings call where they doubled down on Marvel, G.I. Joe, and Magic, but no mention of Star Wars?
I think Star Wars is not in a good place as a brand right now. I mean,
I think they're not going to try and sell Star Wars because they don't know what to sell for Star Wars. They don't
have anything to sell, yeah. I think the big problem with Star Wars is there's not a lot of exciting things going on, and when there's not a lot of exciting things, you don't really want to rush out and buy the action figures or the collectibles.
It's a quality control issue too, in my opinion. When I pay $25 to $30 for a Star Wars figure, and I pay, let's say, $25 to $30 for one of their G.I. Joe figures, the G.I. Joe figure it looks better.
It looks better, has more accessories.
Better paint job.
Yeah, they don't pay the huge licensing fee. That is probably the biggest problem with Star Wars is I don't even want to know how much they have to, off every figure. Essentially gets shipped back to Lucasfilm or Disney.
Right.
And whereas G.I. Joe is their property, they can afford to put a little more in there.
And I think they do bad on, like, case breakdown.
Yeah, they do some dumb things sometimes.
For some reason, they're like, this wave is going to have 6 figures. We're going to make sure that the one character has 3 ofs, and then 1 of each of the others or something like that. That's what they do. It's, like, weird. Like, there's 8 in a case, and 5 of them are different figures, and 1 of them is 3. And you're like, well, who would want 3 of that?
Yeah, instead of doing like the trooper, a lot of times like they put one of it and you're like, why don't you just put the 2 troopers or 3 troopers?
Yeah, because someone's going to come in and they want extra troopers. They don't want 16 Rey.
Nobody wants 16
They don't want 10
Rey.
Rose Tico.
No, just 9.
No. When it's a principal character, you generally only need 1 in the box.
Yeah.
And then fill the rest with army collecting.
Yeah.
Extra droids, extra... troops.
I would say the earnings call not being mentioned is just a commentary on the state of Star Wars. And it does make me wonder how long Hasbro is going to hold on to Star Wars when, again, they probably pay quite a premium to make action figures. And it also makes you wonder the next time that they negotiate, which I think is a 2026. I think next year their contract is up. Don't quote me on that. But it makes me wonder how much they will be willing to spend to keep the license and how much someone else will be willing to pay for it, like a McFarlane or something. I don't know.
Well, like I said, the price is a huge issue. That Rancor that they tried to make for the HasLab, no wonder
God,
it didn't
yeah.
get funded.
Overpriced.
It was way too pricey.
Well, yeah, you go in there and you see the Jurassic Park toys by Mattel. It's a giant dinosaur with
I was playing with one at the
animatronics,
store.
but like, motion and noises, and it's huge, and you're like, that's $40? Why am I paying $350 for a Rancor or whatever it was?
Yeah.
Or why am I paying $33 for a deluxe, Black Series figure?
Yeah, their pricing is not
Yeah,
good.
they're
I
out
know
of
they're
their
trying
mind.
to make it photo real, and
Well, I mean,
they're probably trying to
that has
spend
been
more
good.
on it. But at the same time, they're overpriced. They're outpricing the market.
Absolutely. $25 and $33 for a deluxe is just, especially the economy ain't great. Who wants to spend $25 for an action figure?
And the stores aren't getting the product. Where is it? You go in there and you can't find
It's the
anything
same
from
things,
the recent stuff that they've released. It's all old.
All right, well, I think that is going to be all we got for you this time. Now it is your turn. Take to the comments below. Tell us what you think of whatever we had to say here about these questions. Or you can always ask a question for a future Let's Talk Some Star Wars with Thor and Naboo. You just start your comment off with, hey Thor, hey Naboo, whatever. Leave the question. We'll try to answer it later on. Whatever the case may be, leave those comments below. Let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.